Nala, do you want to see a new bike? All right, so this is the packaging from the Litespeed titanium frame bike that we just picked up here and got sent to us. So not the greatest. I'll set it up real quick so we can see. But this is the Litespeed Flint, and it's got an etched blue color to it, and then some sky blue bar tape. It has a 2x GRX group set, and this is supposed to be just under 20 pounds. It's got 50mm tires on there, so some biggins. It's still got some clearance here, so that's cool. And one of the reasons why I wanted to have a look at this. But yeah, we'll see what this looks like here. Got carbon fork, carbon seat post there, and some cheaper wheel set. But yeah, it's not internally rooted. That feels cool. That kind of sounds like, again, all these sound kind of similar, but this one's not internally rooted at all external, you can see, except for right here. It does go in for the rear brake, it seems, and then everything else is external. So if you did switch to a completely wireless group set like a SRAM or a, what is it called, wheel top, then essentially the only thing that would be external is this portion here, right by the rear brake here. So yeah, the Litespeed Flint, you can see this here, put it all together. It does have a Saddle Italia saddle, which I spec'd, carbon fiber seat post, and FSA Energy. These should be 40mm width, or 40cm width bars. GRX group sets, I think it's 810. Then it is a Ultegra cassette for some more lightweight. This GRX does have a clutch system on it. It is a 2x, so 4831, and it's 1134 rear cassettes. So yeah, Sun Wrinkle wheels, Gravel King tires, 50C. So that's probably the bulk of the weight there. So I guess I'm gonna give this a little go and see how I like it. Caroline already doesn't like the color because it's titanium color. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. Hey everyone. So we are at the last bit of our 30-day trial with the Litespeed Flint. And again, just a refresher, Shimano GRX 810 group set, does have an Ultegra cassette in the back, 1134, 4834 I believe in the chain rings up front, and 40mm wide bars, and carbon fork and titanium frame. So this is in a small. I am 5'9", but have a pretty short inseam. So usually I ride smaller bikes and then just extend the reach out a little bit more for myself. But how has my experience been? I think overall it's been quite good. For something just north of $3,300, I think it's a really good bargain. And that's relative, right? Bargain, $3,300, it's expensive. But if you look at this bike, and I hate to sound like those financial people who are like, think about it as an investment, right? So, but when you come to a bike, you kind of think about components. I've been riding, I don't know, triathlons for
this will be like 15, 16 years. So on a bike, on an alloy frame, for like 14 years. And in general, I've noticed, like, you know, I usually take pretty decent care of my bikes. I've only gotten into one accident, and that was after the first triathlon that I had. So yeah, this bike, if I can give like a few minutes summation, is quite good. It weighs about 20.5 to 22 pounds.
And just want to check weight real quick. 147, and let's start that up with the bike in hand.
With the spec, with the 50 millimeter tires that I have, it is more like 22 and a half pounds, and that's including like the water bottle cages, the pedals. It had one of my lights on it as well. So yeah, pretty full stocked. It didn't have a bike computer, and it had the mount on it. So that's sort of what you have spec wise for 50 mils. When I had my 32 millimeter tires on it and different wheel set, the Hunt wheel set instead of the Sunco, it was more like 20 pounds, 20 and a half pounds. So fairly light for an alloy bike. Again, definitely lighter than steel. My steel frame from the 80s, 90s is it's like 27 pounds, so there's that. But yeah, overall, I've had a really good experience with it, and quite honestly, I'd probably be keeping this bike if it weren't for the people who sent my Chinese bike frame and allowed me to actually cancel it after I placed the order. So I think what's nice about Litespeed is that they build the bikes up and they customize it to your liking. So for example, I asked them, hey, could you have 40 millimeter bars on there? And the guy was like, we don't have 40 millimeter bars in the gravel spec of your handlebars, but we do have a road spec that we can fit on there that's 40 millimeters. So, you know, this is a pretty good fit for myself. And I think, you know, the down tube is really easy to step over, so I really like that, instead of being like a medium, which is a little bit more difficult. Geometry is, again, very, very relaxed, and, you know, not super fast, but, you know, I'm able to go quite fast on this bike just with a proper set of tires. Not these 50 millimeters. The 50 millimeters are pretty tough to go quick on, but yeah. Color wise, yeah, I wish I could get the anodized extra $1,000 for the anodized blue, but bypass that because I don't want to pay an extra $1,000, which I could buy a bike for essentially. So I got the etched blue on there, and then I got some sky blue bar tape on there. So that's sort of what you can see, and it kind of matches my outfit right now, so quite nice. But yeah, fit and finish wise, most of things were good. I think after I messed around with the cassette or the derailleur, rear derailleur, with my different wheel set, but this is honestly the first time that I've been riding it on the 50 millimeters, because typically I ride on the road. So this is really nice to, if you're thinking about longevity, if you're thinking about gravel, different things like that, it has the clearance for that. You can put a tube on it and it still fits 50 millimeter tires. So I think, you know, when you look at all of these things, it's a very, very versatile bike. And if you look in the market for titanium bikes, this bike, oddly enough, goes up to like $3,800, and sometimes it's like $3,200, or sorry, $3,000. So you should look for when this bike, because it changes like every couple of weeks. So don't get caught out paying like over $3,800 for this bike. Shipped to my location with taxes and everything, $3,356. So do not pay more than that. Do not pay more than $3,400 for this bike. You just got to make sure you get the right deals. I don't like that, you know, visually you see the cables. Yeah, it's a little bit messy there underneath the frame, but you know, it is what it is. If you ever switch to a wireless group set, you'll get rid of those two cables and then you'll be fine and dandy. So yeah, overall I would definitely recommend this bike. I would caveat this with, please take note that the different types of bikes that I've ridden on. So I have a steel frame. I mostly have ridden aluminum bikes, and this bike is titanium. I've ridden a couple carbon fiber bikes, and there's not real, like, I don't feel a noticeable difference in the feel of one versus the other. So I would just keep that in mind, because if you're looking for titanium to like mute out all of the like bumps and whatnot, I think it's like a very, very small percentage, like maybe 5-6%, that I can't really notice the difference. And then most of it just depends on how wide your tires are. But I like the Lizard Skins bar tape. It's very nice and grippy. They did a okay job wrapping it, but everything else component-wise is quite good. I haven't seen really any issues, anything that's like been skimped out on. And yeah, hi squirrel, chill out, buddy. It's like the first bit of gravel that I've ridden on. Okay, but yes, I would definitely recommend the bike. You know, just make sure, because this is like their entry level gravel bike. Like I feel like the fit and everything is good. The cables and whatnots, again, they're sticking out a little bit, but I don't think that's really a big issue. It's not really what this bike was made for in terms of like aerodynamics. So if you're not a pro cyclist on the pro Peloton, then it probably doesn't matter for you. But yes, it is comfortable, it is versatile, and yeah, I like the frame build. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. This isn't a bike that I've seen a lot of reviews on, so I thought I would, because I was in the market for one, I thought I'd take a look at it. I really, really like the fact that I can basically just buy different wheel sets and can ride this gravel or road race or crit race. So handling's quite good, don't really have any issues with that. And yeah, that's really all I've got. Definitely recommend, definitely a great company to work with. And if you're looking for a bike that sort of just lasts forever, with the exception of maybe the carbon fork, this is a carbon seat post as well. Didn't add any real upgrades to it. Did not add the T47 bracket. It has a Praxis press fit, I think, so that could be a pain to maintain and maintenance. Another thing that I did like is that they did give you kind of the whole who built this, who tuned it, that sort of thing. So it gives you that personable feel of, hey, this is a person that built this, not a robot. Okay. So yeah, I think that's really a nice touch. I did get an upgrade on the saddle, which was also nice. So instead of a Zeke saddle, I got a Cell Italia Boost, which I think, quite honestly, is nicer. I think it's like $50 more. So yeah, and they also mark this and tell you what they've upgraded and changed about your bike too. So maybe it's nicer if they tell you that beforehand, or maybe it's nicer to get a surprise.
So I think another nice touch was that they did ship these fully tubeless. Usually they don't do that, but I think because this is something that was shipped ground from Tennessee to Chicago, that's the reason why we got tubeless setup, because if you ship it air, then you run to the issue with like pressures and whatnot. So yeah, it'll be sad to see this thing go. I think, you know, it's been really nice. I think one of the things that I noticed was that for, what is it called? For the handlebars, or sorry, the shifters, I do like the 105 shifters better than the GRX shifters. That's probably one thing to know. Other than that, I think it has a UDH derailleur hanger, so that's nice. Yeah, the sun wrinkle wheel set's pretty decent. Haven't really found any issues. This is what it sounds like also when you the free hub. That's what that sounds like. I was interested in the titanium nature of it, mostly because the frame can last a very, very long time, and there's no fatigue that it can settle over time. So for example, an aluminum frame is a very strong, light material, but over time it will fatigue and can break over time with cracks at the welds and different things like that. So with a titanium frame, essentially with the welds, it won't run into any issues. They usually provide lifetime warranties for these. Obviously, that is with a grain of salt in terms of, you know, crashes, different things, how long the actual company lasts, and different things like that. This is Litespeed, it's made in Tennessee. It gives you this bit here. Let me show you this actually. So it's similar to, so it shows you upgrades that it gave you. So it gave me a Sal Italia saddle instead, the Superflow TI 316 saddle. Then it shows an inspection checklist of everything, and it shows who did it. So it looks like Heather did this, was the builder, the tuner, and then there's a inspector who inspected it as well. So Matt inspected it. And then it shows you the job, the size, all the different bits here in terms of like the QA finish and whatnot. So all of that's pretty cool. It's nice to have that personal touch. And then they also give you this kind of torque wrench bit, which is nice. It's always nice to have these to make sure you're not over tightening your bolts and whatnot. And then they give you the set of tools also. And this one comes with a lot more than the Canyon and even the Lauf came with. But those also gave you some tools. Litespeed here, and then it has on the back Litespeed titanium bicycles, Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I think overall, if you're looking for a bike that's just going to last a lifetime, if you will, with regards to the frame, the rest of these, you'll be switching out bearings, you'll be switching out possibly a fork, but as long as you don't run into any issues with crashing, your fork should probably be fine. Relatively everything should be the same. Maybe, you know, obviously consumable items like brake pads, different things like that, you'll have to change out. But overall, you know, it's a pretty good package if you can buy this bike for under $3,500. With that said, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. But overall, my impressions were quite good. I don't know if this is a racy bike, but it's probably a do-it-all bike. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.